Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenore, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Pisces. If Pisces is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so, Pisces, our card tonight is the 10 of Discs, which has everything to do with wealth. Okay, and let's go ahead and take a look and see what this bowl of tea leaves has to say tonight. And so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. Okay. And if you'd also like to leave a like or a comment, I would not be mad at you. So on every side, it seems like we have a lion, okay? So we have the face here, the eyes, the nose, the mouth. You can kind of see the mane right here. Here are the ears right up in this area. And now I'm going to turn it because I want to look and see. Okay, and then on this side, we have the lion standing here. You can see the face kind of looking down. And this one looks like an antelope. You can see kind of the curled horn there. Or, yeah, I think it's a horn. Not an antler. Is it an antler? No. It must be a horn on an antelope. But also the face, again. One heart for an eye. And then the mouth and kind of the mouth here. Little harder to see. It looks like an older, maybe an older lion. So I do feel that we must have a Leo person, or maybe it is you that has a prominent Leo placement. So if you're watching for your solar sign, Pisces, right, you might also have Leo as like a lunar placement, maybe as an ascendant placement, Venus, or so on. And so there is this real solar energy. There is an energy of revelation, of clarity, of kind of being within your life and looking around, and everything seems so obvious and true. Okay. You know, I think that this maybe is a time where there is kind of a shift in perspective about things. Maybe you're getting older. Maybe you've been through something that's been pretty heavy, right? I think this happens when you go through like a big life event, right? Especially if it's something that's somewhat difficult. The loss of somebody close, or, you know, maybe you worked somewhere for a long time and you've been laid off, or, you know, whatever. And you get on the other side of that, and it's almost kind of like your understanding of your true priorities really kind of come to the top of things. You can see them so clearly now. There's not all of the, you know, things that we fill our life with, right? That really ultimately we could leave or take or leave. And when that stuff kind of dissipates, or we've been through something, it makes us reevaluate. A lot of that stuff is kind of let go of or put away. And we get to the heart of what is important, right? And so I feel like this is kind of really where you're at. What is important? And I think you're really focused on those core things, the goals, the dreams, the passions that you have. Now, I also feel, and it's interesting to me to see kind of prey animal right next to predator, right? And face to face, really. I had read yesterday, it was I don't remember who the quote was from, but it was musings on Eastern Orthodoxy within, the Orthodox Church, and the message was this: you have a clear shot to fulfilling your prayer, or having your prayers fulfilled is what I should say, when we pray for things, right? We pray for assistance, for good health, for clarity, whatever it is. We have a better shot at that happening, being fulfilled, being heard, okay? And I'm not saying I agree with exactly how this works, but it's interesting to me because it's something to think about. I mean, it really is something to contemplate. But when we are praying for ourselves, if we pray for our enemies, if we pray for the people in our lives, who maybe hurt us, or we're in some kind of conflict with, we has fallen away from each other, whatever it is, if we pray for them first, so we are allotted this opening to the divine, right? Our heart is clear in a way. And so I look at this, and it really, it makes me feel the sense of coming to terms, maybe not forgiving, maybe not really fully accepting, but really coming to terms with some of the hurts of your life, okay? Where maybe you have been wronged, or maybe you have wronged somebody else. And I feel that you're in a place where you have not really a desire to be in conflict. You are not, you're not interested in having a life of worrying about, people moving against you, enemies, dramas, hurtful situations arising, being around people who, feel kind of toxic. And I feel like you've released yourself of a lot of that through your intentional and radical love. Now, I'm not saying that you're like all kumbaya with every person that you've ever had like an issue, right? But I think you've let go of a lot of stuff. You have decided, I'm not going to carry this with me anymore. This is not something that serves me well. And so I will let it go. This is kind of like giving yourself a little treat, right? Maybe it's a big treat, but it is. There is a sense of like gifting yourself this peace of mind, gifting yourself this kind of, oppressive weight that maybe sits, it sits on your chest, it sits on your heart. If you've ever had, a falling out, say, with like a family member, mom, sister, brother, whoever, right? It feels so heavy to carry around. You have those moments where you're like, I pick up the phone and I want to go call and tell them, you know, this wonderful news I have. But I have to stop myself and think, you know, we're in this place, we're at odds. And it's heavy. And so I feel like you releasing yourself of, the tension that comes along with these kinds of places that we get into with people. And just living your life, doing your thing, being focused on the things that feed your mind, body, soul. And we have that solar energy. Look, we even have the solar disc, right? Well, not disc, but it is the solar symbol. The solar symbol in alchemy is the circle with the little dot in the middle, right? So it's a energy today of liveliness, of that fiery, creative element flowing through you. You are motivated. You are in love. Or at least, you know, devoted to love. You are making good with parts of self, with those in your life, you know, who maybe it's been difficult. You know, you've had some issues along the way. And so, okay, so we have the number 9 right here, okay? The number 9. So 9, a powerful number for you. So we have, it looks like the rhino right here. You can see the rhino. Now, these large animals like the rhino, the elephant, the bison, I love the thought of these animals being so intentional about their movements because they are. They're big. And when they move around, they're expending a lot of calories, right? Energy. And so there is a thoughtfulness, there is a necessity to how they kind of, you know, move themselves about within the landscape that they find themselves, right? So what does that mean? Well, if this rhino is going to walk, you know, I don't know, for 5 minutes, he's got to have a lot of water and food to replenish the energies, okay? So, this is kind of why we see these animals just hanging out around like water sources where there's hopefully some vegetation or something for them, right? So, I do feel like in this era of your life, you are kind of in this really pragmatic place, right? You're doing what benefits your ability to make more money, right? So we have the 10 of coins, wealth. And you are focused on really, I mean, I imagine just building up your wealth, however, you know, you might be able to do that. Now, maybe it is like most of us getting to, you know, that meeting that mark, right? Meeting ends meet, so that you can cover your bills, right? And we might not think of this as, oh, this is a very wealthy person. They can pay all their bills. Well, you listen, the world we live in, yeah, I would say that's a pretty you know, well-off person, pretty, you know, doing pretty well, pretty good. So I think that you're very mindful about what you're doing with the money. You're very mindful about, yeah, doing well in the work that you're doing. If it is a career outside of, you know, outside of your own, I don't know. You maybe own a business, right? This is what I'm trying to get to. You maybe own a business, or maybe, yeah, you have a career that's out there in the world. Right, and there is all the politics of advancing and doing better within the position that you have, getting the raises, you know, kind of climbing the ladder of whatever industry you're in. But you're very, very intent on making that progress, the upward, what is it called? Vertical movement? I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? So I think that this is a time where you've really applied yourself. I mean, you just absolutely, I think, are immersed in doing this work, whatever that might be. And, you know, I don't know that it's detrimental to your other relationships, because, yeah, I think that it's almost kind of like you wake up thinking about it, you go to bed thinking about it. All day long, this is what you're doing. And, you know, I think that's just kind of where you're at right now. This is kind of your, you know, evolving within that space. This is that era. And so I also see the house up here. So I feel like that house is in order. You know, it seems to be not a lot of anxieties around, you know, really getting everything squared away at home. The bills, keeping things kind of up to your liking, cleaning, organization, whoever you're living with. It seems like you're on pretty good terms. So all of this seems pretty solid. And so I feel like you likely stay focused. You're in this real kind of career mindset for at least the next period of time. So we have a person in a garden. We have statues. Interesting. Reminds me of Diana, the huntress. I cannot say that one. I'm going to take a little sip here. Okay, so we have, yes, Diana. And so Diana is a lunar goddess. She's also, you know, usually pictured with a crossbow, or a bow and arrow, I should say, not a crossbow. Maybe the modern version, she has like the really cool crossbow. But she has a bow. She has dogs usually. And I can imagine, you know, her kind of running through the night gardens, you know, stalking her prey, and fully immersed in the hunt, right? And I feel like this is a place where, you know, maybe you had been kind of concerned with what is going on around you and the people that you're kind of, you know, maybe dating or involved with, your family, whatever it is. And that was, I think, you know, really kind of taking a lot of your energies, your, well, really your vital energies, your time. That's the biggest thing, though. When we decide to put so much time into something, especially within our families, right? It's, of course, we put time into being with them and in connection and, you know, experiencing things together. But I think that it can get to a point where, you know, we're almost on the verge of micromanaging, or we're overly involved, where we need our own things as well, right? And so I feel like you kind of shifted out of being hyper-focused on these relationships. That's not to say that you are neglecting them or anything, but you now focus more on the work, making that money. And so I think you're in this place where you're just so inspired, I think, and maybe even coming up with some really kind of innovative ideas, you know, within the work that you're doing, your projects, your, you know, coming up with different ways to do things at work, new systems. Maybe you're going into management, or you're already there, and so you know, you're focused on all these variables and how to get them kind of running more smoothly. And I think that you're making a lot of headway there. It's all kind of working out for the better. Okay, so let's take a look. We have our self-care affirmation cards, and I'm just going to flip through and stop where it feels right. And it says, oh, hero's journey. Nice. I am the hero of my story. My life is an ongoing adventure of growth and courage. I am victorious. I am victorious. Yes. All right, Pisces. I want to tell you I love you because I do, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel so much. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you'd like to leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. Let me know what's going on with you, what's happening in your life. And, oh yes, if you're new to the channel, definitely shout it out in the comments. All right, Pisces, I love you. Take care of yourself. We'll talk very soon, just a couple days from now, a few days from now. And yeah, good night.